class Cyclosporidae, family Fucaceae, and order Fucades. As you can see, the name of the family and the order is related to the name of the genus, that is Fucus. That means Fucus represents the maximum character of this order and family. When we come to the occurrence of Fucus plant, it is a seawater algae and usually attached to the rocks, so it is also known as rockweed, which is a common name of the Fucus. It occurs along, or we can say it occurs attached to the rocks along the seashores, and the plants are very slippery on account of large amount of mucus present on the plant body. That is spread all over the surface of the plant, and it is very difficult because it is present near the seashores, and it is very difficult to walk on the plant because it is so slippery in nature. And the genus comprises number of species which are attached to the rocks with the help of holdfast. We have two common species, that is Fucus vesiculus and Fucus serratus. And Fucus. This species has the smooth margins of the thallus, and this has the serrated margins in the thallus, that we'll see later on. Another thing which is very peculiar to the Fucus plant only, that is the presence of air bladders. Air bladders are present on the thallus, and the main function of the air bladders is to maintain the buoyancy of the plant in water so that plants remain afloat on the surface of the water. Now coming to the organization of the thallus, or we can say the plant body. Of the Fucus is about 30 centimeter in length, and it is, like I told you, very slimy to touch, very slippery to touch, and the thallus, which is known as frond. You see the structure. The thallus is usually formed. The lowermost portion is known as holdfast. This top-right portion, which basically consists of midrib only, that is known as stipe. The upper portion is known as frond. Holdfast is also known as heptaron. The heptaron or the holdfast is the special attaching organ in the Fucus. In some species, it grows into the crevices. Crevices means the what we can call it as, जैसे हिंदी में हम बोलते हैं दरारें पड़ती हैं रॉक्स के अंदर. Crevices, those are the, we can say, areas where it is slightly split up. So in the crevices of the rocks we find the heptaron or the holdfast, with which the plant is attached to the rock at the bottom. Then these hold fast, enters into the crevices, and then it secretes mucilage which binds the hold fast in such a way that we cannot dislodge the plant from the rock. Means that bond is so strong. The holdfast binds the plant with the rock in such a way that it secretes the mucilage and makes the bond very hard. And it is very difficult to remove or to dislodge the plant from the rock. And another type of holdfast is discoid. Some of them are like here you can see they are discoid or disc-like in nature, disc-like in structure. And this disc-like structure is also secreting the mucilage, although it does not penetrate into the rock like the other kind of heptaron which penetrates into the rock. If the disc-like heptaron does not penetrate, but still it is attaching the plant and it is also fixing the plant on the rock. Then we have above the holdfast a short cylindrical structure. This short cylindrical structure is known as stipe, which is stalk-like, and it is the lowermost region of the thallus. Because holdfast it enters into the substratum. If it is a rock, then it is entering into the rock. So above the substratum we find what? We find stipe and the frond. So stipe is the lowermost region of the thallus, and this represents the midrib and little you can say of the thallus. Thallus is actually, the frond is there here also, but it gets torn up because I told you it is present in the sea. So low and the high tides of water waves, they splash over the plant, and then holdfast is fixing the plant in the rock so that area is secured. But the stipe is the region which maximum bears the brunt of the rocks, the waves. So those waves, when they splash on the thallus, then most of the part of the thallus is torn except the midrib region. So the stipe looks like or appears to be a stalk-like structure, and it bears the maximum burn of the waves, and it is very thin in nature. Above the stipe we have the frond. The frond is, this midrib traverses throughout the frond region also, and this midrib is usually forked. As the thallus gets forked, gets branches, similarly the midrib also gets forked, but midrib will never reach, as you can see over here, this again can branch like this. Midrib will never reach up to the top. And here we have a groove. This groove at the terminal end bears the apical bud. Apical bud is what the apical cell which is present in the groove at the terminal end. Another thing which we find over here is the presence of air bladders. These air bladders are scattered on the sides of the thallus, and they are always found in close association with the midrib. They are present along the midrib, in association with the midrib region, and the air bladders helps the plant to float on the surface of the water. That is their main function, that these bladders are filled up with air, and they maintain the buoyancy of the plant and help keep the plant floating on water. Another thing which we find, like up to this we have done the plants and the algae which are which are gametophytic in nature, or they are haploid in nature. Haploid plants are known as gametophytes. Now the fucus is a diploid plant. So it is what? It is sporophyte. It is a diploid plant, and it enters when it enters the reproductive phase, and then we can say the another kind of division, or you can say the mitotic division. But before that, we have the vegetative plant body, that is all the main phase in the life cycle of the fucus, that is diploid. Another thing which we see over here, which is very specific to the fucus, that is the presence of swollen ends at the end, and these swollen ends contain small pimple-like projections, which we call it as papilla. These papilla have pores in the middle, and those pores are known as osteoles. These osteoles, or the pore, they appear like scattered dots. When we see the plant, they look like small dots. And these dots are what? These dots are osteoles, or the small pores which are present. And these pores lead to the cavities, which we call it as conceptacles. They lead to the cavities, which we call it as conceptacles, and these conceptacles are present on the swollen portion of the thallus, and that swollen portion of the thallus is known as receptacle. Now it will seem to be a little confusing to you, because but later on when we study it in the sexual reproduction, then it will be very clear to you that we have the thallus which develops the swollen region, that is receptacle, when it has to undergo the reproduction. These structures develop, and these receptacles bear inside them the conceptacles. Conceptacles now are the regions where we will have the presence of sex organs. So we can see the development and the growth as we move to the different classes or different divisions in the algae, that the specialization of the reproduction, sexual reproduction, is taking place. It is very simple in the lower algae. As you move to the higher plants, you have seen Chara also. That is there also we have specialized structures, lobule and the nucleus. And here we are seeing the regions which are bearing the sex organs, they are also very special. They are very specific. That we have the receptacle region which is present on the vegetative thallus, and this receptacle will again bear the cavities which we call it as conceptacles, and conceptacles are going to bear the sex organs. So highly specific in nature. So this is, we can say, the evolutionary trend also, that from simple to little we can say complicated structures. And then the thallus of fucus is also very complex. When we see internally the structure of the thallus, it is quite complex, and it shows us the differentiation of the plant body into organs. And we have the, if we see internally the structure of the thallus, then it can be divided into three parts: meristem, cortex and medulla. These are the three parts of the internal structure of the thallus. These are the three parts or the three zones of the thallus. Coming to the first, that is the merisstoderm. Merisstoderm is also known as palisade layer or palisade layer. This is consisting of columnar cells. So the outermost layer of the merisstoderm consists of single layer of cells, and these single layer of cells consist of plastids. And these plastids, they are what? They are we can say consist of different pigments. And as we are talking about Phycophyta, then we can say the carotenes, we have the xanthophylls, we have the chlorophyll A, but chlorophyll B is absent. Phycophyta means, if commonly it is known as brown algae. So chlorophyll B is not there. And instead of which chlorophyll is there, that you will have to find out in the book. I am not going to tell you whether it is having chlorophyll C, or it is having chlorophyll D, or it is having chlorophyll E. Out of these three, one chlorophyll is present along with chlorophyll A. So these plastids, they form the palisade layer, that is the outermost layer, and each cell contains a small central vacuole also, single nucleus. Then we have, after this, the next, that is the cortex. Now cortex consists of several layers of cells. Similarly here also. So these cortex, which is internal to the merisstoderm, consist of thin-walled polygonal cells, several layers of polygonal cells which are supplied with the central vacuole, and also they have very few and smaller plastids, or which are also known as phycoplasts, because plastid in the Phycophyta, they are known as phycoplasts. So phycoplasts, they are smaller in size in the cortical region. They are larger in size in the palisade layer, but they are smaller in size in the cortical region. And then this region is also known as, the cortex is also known as storage region, because this will store the reserve food material. And the inner to the cortex, we have what? Inner to the cortex is medulla. And medulla consists of tubular cells. Medulla consists of tubular cells, and these tubular cells are forming the center of the frond. Means, as you know, this is the region of the frond in the thallus. This is the midrib region. So medulla is, we can say, it represents the middle region of the frond, and they are known, these tubular cells are also known as medullary hyphae. They look like hyphae. so they are known as the medullary hyphae. And these medullary hyphae contain thick mucilaginous walls around them, and that is why they form swelling on the middle ear. Because of the presence of the mucilage in them, they look like swollen up. So this is internal structure of the fucus thallus, and this shows us, or this is an example which shows us the differentiation of the tissues in the thallus and differentiation of tissues along with their functions. That all these three parts, like this is the palisade layer, which will help in the production of the food, we can say, manufacturing of the food will be there, photosynthesis. This is the storage region, cortex, it stores the reserve food material. Similarly, this region which helps in the conduction. It helps in the conduction of, we can say, the water or other substances throughout the thallus. So, these three distinct parts of the thallus are performing the three different functions also. Besides different in their structure, they are performing the different functions of the thallus which are required. So this is the vegetative structure of the